maya vidyete te mate. Maya bimbo vashikritya tam chat sarvajna Ishvaraha. The Paramananda Swarupa of myself is denied to me on account of the pratibandha, the obstruction, that is the anadi avidya. So, the ignorance of myself which denies me the knowledge that I am Paramananda Swarupa. And this avidya gives rise to the samsara. It presents me as the jiva, samsari jiva, and I suffer the pangs of sorrows, and I call myself as samsari. How this pratibandha, the obstruction that denies my Paramananda Swarupa, my real nature, can be destroyed? So that has to be now seen, for which the cause of ajnana avidya as the prakriti is given, and how this prakriti, as of which the avidya is a part, gives rise to this samsara, or the jiva and the samsara, because of which I suffer. All this has to be told, means the avidya giving rise to jiva with all its samsara, and how he can retrace back by inquiry his own real nature and get freed from the samsara or the status of the samsari jiva. That has to be told now, for which, now what is this prakriti? Which is the cause of avidya is being explained. Prakriti is Chidanandamaya Brahma Pratibimba Samanvita Sattva Tamo Gunapita. So that which is endowed with the reflection as it were of the Brahma, which is Chidanandamaya. So the Chidanandamayam Brahma, and which is composed of Sattva Guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna. So that is what is Prakriti. That is told to be Vividha, twofold. Vividha, twofold. Twofold in the sense actually Vividha cha is there. So Sa cha, Vividha cha. Actually it is not twofold, it is threefold. So actually it is Trividha, it is threefold. But that here in the context, because he wants to take the context of Jiva and Ishvara, so only two aspects presently have been taken into account, and the third aspect it is connoted by the word cha. So that cha conjunction denotes the third aspect, Trividha, will be told later. So this Maya, this Prakriti is Dvividha to begin with, actually it is Trividha. So what are the twofold nature, Dvividha, the twofold nature of this Prakriti? So that they are Sattva Shuddha Vishuddhibhyam Maya Vidyecha Te Mati. Sattva Shuddha Vishuddhibhyam Techa Maya Vidye Mati. Maya and Avidya. So it is a dual. Maya, not Maya and Vidya. Maya, of it can also be there. So Maya and Vidya also can be Maya Vidya. It is Maya and Avidya, Maya Avidya. So therefore, now these two, the Vividha twofold, the Vividha with the twofold Prakriti, which is actually Maya and Avidya. What is the distinction between them? How do you, what you call as Maya and what is called as Avidya? That is Sattva Shuddha Vishuddhibhyam. See, it is not Sattva Shuddhi Vishuddhibhyam. Mark the word. It is not Sattva Shuddhi Vishuddhibhyam. Sattva Shuddha Vishuddhibhyam. Sattva Shuddhi plus Avishuddhi, not Vishuddhi, Avishuddhi. So Sattva Shuddha Vishuddhibhyam Maya Vidya. What is Sattva Shuddhi? What is Sattva Shuddhi? Sattvasya Shuddhi, Sattva Shuddhi. The purity Shuddhi, the purity of Sattva Guna means predominantly Sattva Guna being there. That is what is called as the Sattva Shuddhi. So Sattvasya, what is now the question is, what you mean by purity of Sattva Guna? In the sense, Sattva Guna not being mixed by rest of the two gunas, the Rajoguna and Tamoguna. So that is the Sattvasya. And what is the nature of Sattva? Sattva is Prakashatmakaha. Sattva Guna is Prakashatmaka, which gives knowledge and can confer the Ananda. So Sattva Guna, which is Prakashatmaka. So that means the nature of luminosity in the sense which gives, confers the knowledge and also Ananda. So Sattvasya Prakashatmakasya Gunasya Shuddhihi. Shuddhi, purity is Gunantarena Akalushikritata. Kalushikrutatva is getting kalusha means impurity. So becoming impure. So now gunantarena means by other guna, akalushikritata, not being impure. In the sense, or we can also say as gunantarena anadhibhavaha. Adhibhava is overpowering. Anadhibhavaha is not getting overpowered. So not getting overpowered by other gunas. Those other gunas are rajoguna and tamoguna. So now sattvasya shuddhi, sattva shuddhi means predominantly sattva guna being there. The predominant sattva guna is there. Maybe trace of the rajas and tamas is possible, because prakriti is always trigunatmika. Sattva guna, rajoguna and tamoguna, these three are there. At no time and no place can there be prakriti devoid of any other gunas. The only thing is that which is predominant and which is subordinate, or in a very negligent quantity it is there, that only differs, but always the three gunas are bound to be there. Without the three gunas nothing is there in the creation. So now here sattva shuddhi means it is not overpowered or it is not mixed by other gunas. When you say mixed by other gunas, that doesn't mean there are no traces of other gunas. Maybe little trace may be there, but generally it is the sattva and sattva alone. So sattva shuddhi. And what is sattvasya avishuddhi? Yes, avishuddhi of sattva it is. See, that is gunantarena kalushikrutatvam, getting mixed or being impure on account of other gunas. Gunantarena kalushikrutatvam, in the sense is like this: rajastamobhyam nyunadhikataya mishranam. In the sattva guna, rajastamobhyam nyunadhikataya, nyuna adhika, nyuna means less, adhika is more, means in a varying degree. So less and more, rajas and tamas getting mixed with the sattva guna, that is what is called as avishuddhi. Means rajastamobhyam nyunadhikataya mishranam, that is what is kalushikrutatvam. So that getting impure by the other gunas means, so in a varying degree, getting mixed along with the rest of the gunas, rajoguna and tamoguna. Now, tabhyam, on account of these, being sattva shuddhi or sattvasya avishuddhi. So on account of these two reasons, te means dividhe. So that is those two folds. So dividhe are called as dividhe maya avidya iti cha mate. So maya avidya mate. Mate means consider. Those two fold prakriti are considered as maya and avidya. Maya avidya means maya and avidya. So maya and avidya, maya avidya. So they are considered as maya avidya. Mate means some mate they are considered. So that being the case, prakriti wherein sattva guna is very predominant, that is called as the maya, and wherein the mixture of rajoguna and tamoguna in a varying degree is there, that is called as the avidya. Otherwise it is. So at the same time you would keep in mind Chidanandamaya Brahma Pratibimba Samanvita. So that is always there. The Chidabhasa, the reflected awareness is always there. So therefore now we can take like this. What is Maya and what is avidya? So Maya can be like this. Chidananda Pratibimba Samanvita Vishuddha Sattva Pradhana Prakriti is Maya. You can get the definition of Maya as like this. Chidananda Pratibimba Samanvita, that which is endowed with the Pratibimba, reflection as it were of Chidananda, Vishuddha Sattva Pradhana, so which is predominantly Vishuddha Sattva, predominantly Sattva in nature, and also it is that Prakriti, that aspect of Prakriti is called as Maya. So that aspect of Prakriti, which is of course endowed with the reflection as it were of Chidananda Brahma, and which is endowed with the predominant sattva guna, is called as the Maya. So it is also called, yes, this is the sattva pradhana Maya. So that one thing you should keep in mind, little trace of rajoguna and Sattva-guna will be verily there in that. Then what is avidya? Avidya also likewise. Avidya is Chidabhasa Pratibimba Yukta. Here is avidya, Chidananda will not come. So for Ananda, what is necessary is predominant Sattva-guna is there. But here Sattva-guna is less, though it is there, Rajoguna and Tamoguna are more, so therefore Chidabhasa Pratibimba Yukta Malina Sattva Pradhana Prakriti. The Prakriti is Malina Sattva Pradhana. The Sattva which is predominantly Malina. Malina means impure. Impure on account of Rajoguna and Sattva-guna, not Sattva-guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna in varying degrees. So that is what is called as that Prakriti is called as the Avidya. So these are the two definitions of Maya and Avidya. So they are considered. So now the what for this Maya and Avidya have been explained. There is a purpose, not that. The final purpose is to present us the Jiva and how he has got caught up in this samsara. The modus operandi of the Avidya to present as a Jiva who is suffering the samsara, so that he can retrace back by inquiry his own real nature. So for that, to begin with, the Prakriti, the cause of Avidya, which has got two aspects to begin with, the Maya and Avidya, they have been told. And now, this is the product of Maya and Avidya. Maya gives rise to Ishvara, Avidya gives rise to Jiva, that's what we are. So, now the purpose for which this division has been given. Maya bimbaha tam vashikritya sarvajnaha Ishvaraha syat. Maya bimbaha. So Maya bimbaha means the Chidabhasa which is available in the Maya. So Maya bimbaha. So Maya bimbaha is Mayayam pratifalitaha Chidabhasa. Chidatma Chidabhasa. The reflected Chaitanya, reflected in what? Maya. Other way you can put the Chaitanya conditioned by Maya. So, but the Chidabhasa is necessary. Reflection of the Chaitanya is necessary. It is one and the same. So Chaitanya reflected in the Maya, that is what is the Maya bimbaha. That is Chidabhasa available in the Maya. What does it do? Tam vashikritya. Tam means tam mayam. That Maya vashikritya. Having controlled, means keeping the Maya under its control. The Chidabhasa available in the Maya, having controlled the Maya, means keeping the Maya under control, Vashikritya, Swadhinikritya, Vartamanaha, who is he? Sarvajnaha, Ishvaraha syat. He becomes the Ishvara, who is Sarvajnaha, Sarvam Janati iti Sarvajna, the one who knows everything, omniscient. So, Sarvajnaha, the omniscient, so Ishvaraha syat becomes, he becomes the Ishvara who is omniscient. So Ishvara, Ishvara Ishvara, one who has got the overlordship. Ishvara is overlordship. See, in a given field, everyone is a Ishvara. A given person may have some control in a given field, but he may not have control over everything. The one who has got control over anything and everything that is there in the creation, one who is the Lord of all the Lords, the one who is the Ishvara of all the Ishvaras, one who is the Master of all the Masters, that overlord, he is the Ishvaraha, omniscient, he is the Sarvajnaha. So that is what is Ishvara. So that is Ishvara now. You can put Chaitanya through the conditioning of the Maya, plays the role of Ishvara, who is omniscient. Now let us find out who is the Jiva. So from Maya we get the Ishvara, from Avidya we get the Jiva. Avidya vashagasvanyas tadvai chitryadanekadha. Avidya vashagasvanyad. Avidya vashagasvanyaha. Tadvai chitryadanekadha. Sakarana shariram syat prajñas satrabhimanavan. Tu avidya vashagaha tu anyaha. Tu I hope you know how to split now. Otherwise, let's make a note of it. Avidyavasagaha tu anyaha. Avidya tadvaikitryatah. Tu avidyavasagaha anyaha. Tu means whereas, in contrast to the earlier Ishvara. What is that contrast is there? This anyaha is who? Jivaha. The Jiva is other than the Ishvara. There is a contrast between Ishvara and Jiva. What is the contrast? Ishvara is the Chidabhasa available in the Maya, no doubt, but he has got the mastery over the Maya. Whereas this Jiva also is Chidabhasa available in the Avidya, but he is not the master of the Avidya, but whereas he is being mastered by the Avidya. He is under the control of Avidya, whereas the Ishvara controls the Maya. So that is the two. Whereas to draw the distinction between the Ishvara and Jiva. So therefore, Anyaha is this Jiva. In contrast to Ishvara, who has got the mastery over the Maya, this Jiva is Avidyavasagaha. So the one is under the control of this Avidya. So means, what is that Avidya? Malina Sattva Pradhana Prakriti. Now you connect to Prakriti also. Okay? Avidya is Malina Sattva Pradhana Prakriti. So that is called as Avidya. So this Jiva is under the control of the Avidya. So Avidyavasagatu Anyaha. So means Avidyavashaga means Avidyayam Pratibimbatvena Sitaha. So one who is available in the Avidya being reflected in that. So means conditioned by Avidya, or we can say the Chidabhasa, the reflected Chaitanya in the Avidya, but who is being controlled by the Avidya. Whereas, see, Chidabhasa is common in the case of both Ishvara and Jiva. Whereas the Chidabhasa in the Maya, in the case of Ishvara, controls the Maya, whereas the Chidabhasa in the Avidya is controlled by Avidya. But both are nothing but one and the same Chaitanya reflected as it were in the different Upadhi. See, 1000 watt bulb and a 25 watt bulb. The Upadhi of filament may differ. Electricity is one and the same, but manifestation different. So that is so bright, the 1000 watt bulb is so bright and brilliant, luminous, this is dim. But you can't say electricity is different. Likewise, this Chaitanya reflected in Maya and reflected in Avidya, both one and the same, but the manifestations are totally different. One is Sarvajnaha, this guy is Alpajnaha. So, Avidyavashagat Anyaha, Tadvaichitriad Anekadha. Tadvaichitriad, Tasyaha Avidyayaha Vaichitriad. Because of the variegated nature of Avidya. Why variegated nature? Because it is mixed by tamas and rajas, but in varying degrees, not just mixed. So this much of sattva guna, this much of tamo guna, this much of rajoguna. No, there is different permutation combination of this mixture as such, and therefore because of being variegated in terms of the mixture of the rajoguna and tamoguna, that is what is the Vaichitrya. Anek jivaha anekadha bhavati. He becomes manifold in the sense, he becomes of different nature, like Manushya, Kirya, Deva, Adi. Human embodiment, animal embodiment, heavenly embodiment. All these because of the varying degrees of mixture of Sattva guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna. But Malina Sattva Pradhana. Sattva guna is less, Rajoguna and Tamoguna are more. So therefore, Anekada in manifold ways. Aneka Prakara. Anekada means Aneka Prakara of different types. So of the different types, so Jiva becomes of different types depending on the embodiments, the Upadhis, the embodiments that he gives. Anekada Bhavati. Now this is what has happened. Prakriti actually is threefold, but twofold aspects we have seen now, the Maya aspect and the Avidya aspect. Maya gives rise to Ishvara, Avidya gives rise to Jiva. Maya controls the, no, Ishvara controls the Maya, Jiva is controlled by the avidya. Okay. Now, how further, that means the Jagat has been created. How, what happens to this Jiva? How this Jiva, what are the other aspects of Jiva? Further the Jiva has to be explained so that he can retrace, or that means regain his original status of Chidananda Brahma, Satchidananda Sarupa Brahma. That has to be told, which has been done now, and finally at in the stanza 42. So the author is giving us how exactly one has to ascertain the one's own real nature by discriminating between the three shariras: Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, Karana Sharira. The method adopted here is Panchakosha Viveka, the discrimination within the 5 sheets, where the universal identification is there in terms of taking these 5 sheets as I. So now the inquiry starts in terms of Panchakosha, but Panchakosha can be regrouped in terms of 3 Shariras. I hope you know Panchakosha. Sattva-bodha, never mind. The author knows that you have forgotten. He will tell you. He will tell you here. So he will revise here. So Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Annamaya Kosha. Annamaya Kosha is which Sharira? Sthula Sharira. Manomaya, Vijnana, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Sukshma Sharira. Anandamaya is Karana Sharira. So they are only the two different types of divisions, but they are one and the same thing, viewed from two different standpoints. Now he says, so by Panchakosha Viveka means is inquiry or discrimination between the 3 Shariras. By discriminating that this is exactly one's own real nature, Akhanda Brahma Swarupa is one's own real nature, is concluded, that inquiry is concluded in stanza 42. Now, to conduct that inquiry, I should first know what are the 3 Shariras. What are the 3 bodies? 5 sheets in terms of 3 Shariras which have been discriminated there. So the context demands what are the 3 bodies. So that means to, though the inquiry is concluded in the stanza 42, there it is said, Yatha munja dishika evam atma yuktya samudhritaha sharira tritaya dhiraihi param brahmaiva jayate. This is actually the 42nd stanza that is going to come. So there it says, just as from the munja grass, the ishika, munja is a particular grass which has got the so many layers of the grass which are sharp. So inside there is an edible core. So now you can strip off the layers of the grass and get the edible core. But while doing that, you should be very cautious enough, because the grass blades are very sharp, and if you are not alert enough, your fingers will get cut by them. So just as by due alertness, you strip off all the layers of the munja grass and get the edible core. Like that, in terms of viveka, here there is no surgery or anything to strip off the panchakoshas or 3 Shariras, etc. So in terms of a discrimination viveka, you have to get rid of the identification with the 3 Shariras to ascertain what your real nature is. That is concluded there in the 42nd. But to do that, I should know what are these 3 Shariras. So therefore, now start to explain what are the 3 Shariras. To begin with, to start with the Karana Sharira. And this Karana Sharira is nothing other than the avidya which we have seen now. This avidya itself. So, Malina Sattva Pradhana Chidabhasa Samanvita Malina Sattva Pradhana Prakriti, which is avidya, itself is Karana Sharira. Why it is called Karana Sharira, we will see. So that is what is the Karana Sharira. So Karana Sharira is English causal body or casual body. You say all are same. Some many years back, in the Chinmaya mission there was a postal course, postal course, Vedanta course was there. And I was the examiner in those days as well. Invariably, the answer papers coming from state, I can, in the particular contest, I can take it forward and correct the spelling, casual, make it causal. That was the initiative I was doing. But at least 75 to 80% of the answer paper used to mention casual body. So, causal body, okay, causal body, Karana Sharira. So, yes. Now this Karana Sharira. Sa means Sa avidya. Which avidya? Which already seen, okay? Otherwise you refer your notes. So Sa, that means the one which you have just now seen, which is endowed, which is Malina Sattva Pradhana Prakriti. Sa Karana Shariram Syat. Syat means it is Karana Sharira. It is called as Karana Sharira. So that is what is called as the Karana Sharira. So the question is, why it is called Karana and why, what is that Sharira? What is Sharira? Body. A body is called Sharira. Why it is called Sharira, we will see. Before that, why the Avidya is called Karana? There are two reasons. The two reasons are, one reason is, this Avidya is the Karana means cause. It is the cause in the sense, this Avidya is the cause of Sthula Sharira and Sukshma Sharira and all its manifestations or modifications. So it is Sthula Sukshma Shariradi Karana Bhutam. This Avidya is Karana Bhutam, which is in the form of the Karana, the cause of what? Sthula Sukshma Shariradi. Sthula Sharira is the gross body, Sukshma Sharira is the subtle body, Adi is there. What are the Adi? Adi for the modification. What are the modifications? Not only these bodies, gross body, subtle body, identification with that. And once you identify with the gross and subtle body, what happens? Whatever that happens to the gross and subtle body happens to whom? To me, is it not? So therefore, all the modifications that are on account of the avidya, effects of avidya and the subsequent identification with them, so that is the cause for all these. Avidya is the cause. The ignorance of oneself is the cause. So therefore it is called Karana. Also it is Karana because avidya is part of Prakriti. For entire creation, the final cause is Prakriti. You know why it is called Prakriti? Prakarshena Kriti Yogyatvat Prakriti. That which has got the variable potentialities to create something. So that is what Prakarshena Kriti Yogyatvat Prakriti. So that means it has got a very great potentiality to create. The entire creation is the product of this Prakriti. So therefore, being the Prakriti, it is the final cause in the sense at the level of the Jagat. So of course, finally what is Prakriti has no existence apart from Brahma. That is the other aspect of that. But here in the realm of the creation, we can say Prakriti is the cause, and now this avidya is caused by whom? Prakriti. So avidya is part and parcel of Prakriti. Therefore, Prakriti is the cause, and secondarily avidya also is called as the Karana, the cause. So Prakritehe avastha visheshat. Avidya being avastha vishesha, being a particular state of Prakriti. What is the particular state of Prakriti? Malina Sattva Pradhana Prakriti is avidya. So therefore, avidya, ignorance being a particular state of Prakriti, that is what is the Prakritehe avastha visheshat. So therefore, so upacharat karanam iti kachyate. Upacharat means secondarily. So actually what is Karana? Prakriti is Karana, but secondarily this avidya, which is a particular state of Prakriti, is also called as the cause Karanam. So therefore, why the avidya is called Karana? Because it is cause of Sthula Sharira, gross body, Sukshma Sharira, subtle body, and their manifestations and identification, etc. in the samsara. And also the final cause is Prakriti. Avidya is a particular state of the cause, therefore secondarily it is called as Karana. Now why it is called Sharira? That which is both Karana and Sharira, so therefore it is called as Karana Sharira. Why avidya is called as Sharira? So Sharira because it is Shiryate iti Shariram. Shiryate. So Shiryate means Vinashyati. That which gets destroyed. So Shiryamana Svabhavatvat Shariram. So that which has got the nature of getting destroyed is called Shariram. So Shiryate. How this avidya gets destroyed? Tattvajnanad. So by Tattvajnana, by the knowledge of my real nature, by knowledge of Atma, so this ignorance, avidya, is destroyed. So therefore it is called as the shariram. So therefore, so avidya is called as karana shariram, the causal body. So that is what is the causal body. Okay. Now the status of jiva with respect to karana sharira is being told. This jiva identifying with the karana sharira is called as the pradnyaha. So that is what it says. Pradnyaha tatrabhimanavan. So pradnyaha tatrabhimanavan. Tatra means karana sharire, in that causal body. So tatra abhimanavan. The one who is abhimanavan. Abhimanavan means one who is identified with, one who has got the identification in the sense taking the karana sharira as I. So abhimanavan. How? Aham mama iti. I and mine, identifying with the karana sharira. So tatra means in the karana sharira, in the causal body. Abhimanavan, the one who has got identification with the causal body, is called as the pradnyaha. Is the name. You will see why pradnya afterwards. So he is called as the pradnya. So means the jiva identified with the karana sharira is called as the pradnya. So why is he called pradnya? So what is the reason he is being called pradnya? Actually, pradnya eva pradnya. He is pradnya only. Pradnya himself is pradnya. So pradnya eva pradnya. So why pradnya? What is that pradnyatva? Read like this. See, pradnya. Pradnya is jnana. So that is what is that? Jnana drishtihi means knowledge principle. Pradnya is jnana drishtihi, knowledge principle, not knowledge of something. Can you give me other meaning for pradnya, jnana drishti? Not other word for that. Celebrated word in the first chapter so far. Samvit. Samvit. So that is what samvit. So therefore, see, that pradnya, that samvit, the jnana drishti, the knowledge principle. So that pradnya. So pradnya, you see, the one who has got pradnya is pradnyaha. Pradnya yasya saha pradnya. Or pradnya asya asti iti pradnyaha. What type of pradnya it is? What type of knowledge principle? That knowledge principle of these two types, of this variety. What is that? One that is avinashi swarupa anubhava rupa yasya. Pradnya, that knowledge principle which is avinashi swarupa. Avinashi swarupa means one whose swarupa, the nature is avinashi, indestructible, means nitya. Avinashi swarupa means nitya, which is not subject to destruction. We already seen eka samvit nitya earlier seen. So that jnana drishti, which is of the whose nature is indestructible, which is indestructible means nitya, which is of the nature of nityatva. So that is what the pradnya, the knowledge principle which is nitya, indestructible. Also anubhava rupa, which is anubhava rupa means the one wherein anubhava experiences. So one in whom all experiences are centered. See, means the samskaras, the impressions of all sthula sharira, sukh sharira, and the consequent experiences are centered in whom? In the sense, if that pradnya is missing, you will not have any experiences whatsoever. Whether they are the waking state experiences, or dream state experiences, or deep sleep state experience. So none of these experiences will be possible if this pradnya is missing, because any experience is centered or bathed in the Chaitanya. Without that, no experience whatsoever is possible. So therefore, so that pradnya, what type of pradnya? Avinashi swarupa, anubhava rupa, yasya saha pradnyaha. We have got the word now pradnya. So it means the one who has got that pradnya, which is of indestructible nature, nitya, eternal, at the same time, which is of the nature of anubhava, means the very center, which is the very center or the locus of all the types of experiences. So that is what is pradnya. Pradnya eva, the one who is verily pradnya, he is pradnya. So pradnya means now the jiva identified with the karna sharira is called as the pradnya. That's fine. Now we have got the karna sharira and the product of karna sharira. The attempt of the author is to give us all the three shariras and present us the jiva on account of three shariras and how and the samsara that he suffers and how he can be made to regain his own real nature. So now the question, what is expected further is, what are these sukshma, what is the sukshma sharira? So karna sharira we have got. Karna sharira, sukshma sharira, then comes the sthula sharira. So the next one that we expect to know is, what is the sukshma sharira or the subtle body. So that's the subtle body which is expected now to be known, and the subsequent, the nature of jiva will be explained from stanza 18 to 22, and thereafterwards in the 23 and 24, what is actually sukshma sharira will be told. Means first, before defining sukshma sharira and the product of it jiva in this detail, so what are the constituting factors of sukshma sharira? They are explained first. Sukshma sharira is made up of these things. What are those things which go in the making up of the sukshma sharira? They are first explained up to 22. And thereafterwards, this is what is the sukshma sharira will be defined, and thereafter the product of that sukshma sharira, the nature of jiva will be clear. So now, what are the constituting factor of the sukshma sharira? To know that, we should have the 5 elements. Sukshma sharira is made up of Panchamaha Bhuta. But we are from the Prakriti, we have come only up to the level of Maya and Avidya. So now the 5 elements are required. There comes the role of Tamah Pradhana Prakriti, the third one. See, earlier, here Dvividha Sacha, Dvividha was told. Dvividha to begin with was Maya and Avidya, that is Vishuddha Sattva Pradhana and Malina Sattva Pradhana. The Cha was standing for the Tamah Pradhana Prakriti, which actually have been referred, all the 3 Prakritis as all the 3 facets of the one and the same Prakriti have been referred in the stanza 44 and 45 in the context of Tattvamasi Mahavakya. So that they have been referred. But what actually this third one, the Malina Sattva Pradhana Prakriti, what does it do? We get here in the 18th stanza. So he says, this is what the Malina Sattva Pradhana Prakriti does. It creates the 5 elements, and 5 elements go into the making of this sukshma sharira, and thereafter the sthula sharira. So look here. Tamah Pradhana Prakritehe Tadbhogayeshvaradnyaya Viyat Pavanate Jombu Bhuvo Bhutani Jadnire Viyat Pavanate Tejombu Bhuvo Bhutani Jadnire Tadbhogaya Tamah Pradhana Prakritehe Ishwaradneya Viyat Pavanatejombu Bhuvaha Bhutani Jadnire Tadbhogaya Shashti Tatpurusha Tesham Bhogaya. For the Bhoga. Bhoga means, how will you translate Bhoga? Enjoyment. Enjoyment, is it not? For the enjoyment. Generally it is Bhoga is translated as enjoyment. But that problem is there in English. You know why? Actually, bhoga means experience. Experience of joy and sorrow. But in English, enjoyment is of what? Something joyous. I enjoy. You can't say, I enjoy sorrow. Can you say? Do you say, I enjoy sorrow? See, one Christian missionary caught hold of someone. He said, enjoyment is say, but what about the sorrow? Do you enjoy sorrow? We should be very careful. Somehow that word translation has continued. So bhoga means enjoyment. For the sake of enjoyment. So, experience is better because experience contains both joy and sorrow. So that's what actually bhoga. Bhoga Sanskrit word means experience, but not as a, of course, bhogas also are your sense enjoyments also means, that means the things, vishayas which can be enjoyed also are called bhogas. But actually bhoga means both, that is experience, joy and sorrow. So, tesham bhogaya, for the experience of those who are tesham pradnyanam, the jiva who has got the status of pradnyanam. How come? On account of identification with the karana sharira. For the experience of those pradnyas, the jivas in the form of pradnya, means for jivas, bhogaya, tamah pradhana prakrutehe, fifth case it is, ablative, prakrutehe, not sixth case, from the, that means from the prakriti. What type of prakriti? Tamah pradhana prakriti. The prakriti which is predominantly tamasic in nature. Tamoguna is predominant as such. A little trace of sattva and rajoguna will be there. Earlier two varieties have seen. Vishuddha sattva pradhana, Maja sattva pradhana. Now this is the third variety, tamah pradhana prakriti. From the prakriti which is pradhana, predominantly tamasic, wherein tamoguna is predominant. So from that prakriti, Ishwaradnyaya, because of the ajna literally command here means law, or actually it is because of the ikshana, in the form of ikshana, ichha means by the sankalpa of Ishvara. What type of sankalpa? Not like your and my sankalpa. That sankalpa, you see, for us to do sankalpa, what is necessary? Each and every one of you had done the sankalpa of joining this course. Yes or no? Otherwise you will not. See, I know. Huh? How did I know all these things? That's all. Without that sankalpa you can't land here, is it not? So, how did you do that sankalpa? Just overnight you did the sankalpa. I know many of you were waiting for, not years, for ages. After the last course was over, there are many who were waiting for this, is it not? So, and in between also, what has happened? Shall I join or not? All sankalpa, vikalpa were there. Okay. So now, for which what was necessary? At any time, did you do this sankalpa in your deep sleep state of joining the ashram? To reinforce the sankalpa. So that you may get distracted by something else. Did you ever do it? No. What is necessary? At times in dream might have been, you might have dreamt that, oh, I am going for Coimbatore ashram. Coimbatore, nothing was there at that time possibly. Only Swamiji had told. So like that possible. So for us to do sankalpa, what is necessary is antakarana. Is it not? Antakarana is necessary. Whereas, and antakarana is, this I am just taking help of Tattva-bodha, what you have studied so far. Here we are going to come in detail. For antakarana, what is necessary? 5 elements. But the 5 elements are not yet born. And how come Ishvara can do sankalpa? See, if Ishvara has to do sankalpa, he needs antakarana, is it not? But to have antakarana, what is necessary? 5 elements. But to create 5 elements, first he has to do the sankalpa. So the merry-go-round now. So what are you going to do? That's why he is called as Sarva Shaktiman. You and me, we need the antakarana for a sankalpa. He just ikshana, by just ikshana, just as if he is a witness. So, but he can will just like that without any antakarana. So that is what is called as that Ishwaradnyaya. Ishwaradnyaya means, so it is Iksha Purvakam. So Iksha, so kamayata bahusyam prajayeti satapotapyata. That tapas is not our tapas sitting under a tree with a tight body, etc. So tapas is Ikshanam. Ikshanam means just, so let me have it. That he can do without the Antakaran. That's why he is called as Sarva Shaktiman. How? That is beyond the grasp of our intellect, because we will try to understand with the help of this puny intellect, which is not possible. Ishvara has got that capacity. So that is that the one, that means Chidabhasa available in the Maya, having controlled the Maya, can do that. So therefore Ishvaradnaya. Ishvaradnaya means the one of Ishvara. Who is that Ishvara? Ishanadi yuktasya jagadaha adhishtatuhu adnya. By the one who presides over the entire creation, who has got the overlordship over the entire creation, by his that Ikshana, by just, that means he is just viewing that, that means what, willing that. So by that, so by that Ikshana, so that is what Adnya. So Adnya, otherwise Adnya means the one who commands and one to whom the command is given is necessary. Nothing of that sort was there at that time. So therefore Adnya, by that Ikshana, Adnya, all these were born. Jadmire, Jatani. They were born. They got born. All, what are those? Bhutani. Bhutani, the 5 elements. What are those 5 elements? Viyat, Pavana, Tejombu, Bhuvaha. Viyat, Akasha, space. Pavana, Vayu, air. Tejaha, fire, Agni. Ambu, water. Bhuhu, earth. Plural is Bhuvaha, because all the compound is there. So Bhuvaha, so earth. So the 5 elements, space, air, fire, water, earth. These Bhutani, these 5 elements were born. From where were they born? From the material cause of Tamapradhana Prakriti. As the Nimitta Karana, we will see that afterwards, that as the efficient cause, who is the efficient cause? The Ishvara. So as the Ishvara as the efficient cause, by his command, means by just his sankalpa, by his just Ikshana, that he has nothing to do as such. In the sense, that again the Ikshana means what? To start observing everything. Means it is just Ikshana here means, in his presence it just takes it. Why? There is a cause. Acha, he did create all these things to play mischief and make us suffer this samsara, so that we have to attend a Vedantic course to gain the knowledge. And there also Vedantic course in the beginning, you have to pray to Ishvara so that he doesn't get anyone to flatter him. Is it that way? No. Why did he create? Because we have given the blueprint to him. Of what? Karma phalas. Had we not given the karma phalas, Ishvara will be out of job. See how great you are. You are appointing whom? You are the self who are appointing Ishvara, because if you are not there, the Jagat is not required. Jagat is not there, Ishvara is not required. Ishvara will not get the status of Ishvara. Think of it. Is it? How great you are. You have ordered such a creation to suffer that. That's the whole thing. And afterwards, then we have to what? Send prayers. Oh Bhagavan, Pahimam, Trahimam, all petitions we have to send to Ishvara. All this, we are the architect of all these things. Because we had given the blueprint of karma phalas, we have to have the Jagat. Because we have the Jagat, Ishvara is required. Ishvara gets the status and he creates the Jagat. So therefore, so Bhutani Jajare. To begin with, the 5 elements were created. Okay, that is fine now. Now from the 5 elements, now all this is preparation to define what is Sukshara. Don't forget that. Karanashara already defined. Now to define what is the Sukshara. Step by step, the constituting factors that go into the making up of the Sukshara, they have to be told now. First, now from Tamapradhana Prakriti, the 5 elements were born. Now from 5 elements further, what all things were born? Okay. Sattvangshaih panchabhistesham kramadhindriya panchakam Shrotratva-gakshirasanaghranakhyamupajayate. If you are alert, you will chant properly. If you are not alert, it will see. Vedanta needs lot of alertness, okay? So Swamiji might have already told, or he will tell you, even after the end of 2.5 years or 3 years of course, if you have not got anything, at least this much is guaranteed. What is that? An alert analytical mind, not to take anything for granted and analyze the pros and cons of anything and everything. That analytical mind, that you can certainly get. Why? Because other things depend on what? There is a broken gramophone record in Vedanta. What is that? Antakarana Shuddhi. To operate this inquiry to be fruitful, Antakarana Shuddhi is indispensable. You find out, even Shankaracharya, he may go on and on and on, and finally he may not use the word Tattva Shuddhi or Antakarana Shuddhi, but he will land upon that only. So at least he will give indirect hint that in spite of this inquiry, if this has not worked, diagnosis is very clear. What is it? Lack of readiness of the mind. Of course, it is not to discourage anyone. It is not to discourage, but to know the diagnosis and take to the appropriate means. That's all. There is nothing, you see, in our Shastra, there is no one way, one path, etc. So, final thing is knowledge alone is the thing. But the means are different to repair the mind. But you have to prepare the mind depending on where you are. That means at what level you are. There are different means. But to prepare the mind and inquire and gain the knowledge. So, in that sense, inquiry will be fruitful provided the readiness of the mind is there. Otherwise, you have exposed to inquiry, but tube light philosophy. Switch is put on, but still it is not clicking. Why? Somewhere some obstruction is there, some choke. And after 10 minutes what happened? I think Swamiji has already told you, is it not? Tube light philosophy. Afterwards, click, it will go. You had not put on the switch at that time. It was put on 10 minutes earlier. But it took 10 years to get the flash. Why? It took 10 minutes to get over the obstruction. So like that, 2.5 years exposed to inquiry, but still something is that, some choke is not all right, or something is there, or something there. It may take time, but it is the effect of what? Shravana, inquiry only. Okay, that's fine. So now, this, from the 5 elements, what are the subsequent things that are born? So, Tesham Panchabhi Sattvanshaihi. Of those 5, of what are those 5? Viyat Pavana Tejo Mubhuva. The 5 elements, Tesham, of those Tesham Bhutanam, of those 5 elements, Panchabhi Sattvanshaihi. From the 5 sattvic content of space, air, fire, water, earth. So, Krama Dhindriya Panchakam Jayate. What is born is the group of 5 sense organs. Dhindriya means Buddhindriya or Jnanendriya. So Dhindriya means Buddhindriya or Jnanendriya, the 5 sense organs. So Krama, that is important. Krama means in the order. See? Kramat Dhindriya Panchakam, Kramat Dhindriya Panchakam. So Kramat in order. What order? So you have to keep this order always. Space, air, fire, water, earth. If you keep that order, then Shrotram, Tvak, Chakshuhu, Rasana, Granam. All this you should keep in order, means you will be able to find out what is born of what. So, there Vakayu Upastha in the Karmendriyas. To keep this order means you need not hunt what is born of what, etc. The Kramat, in the order they are born. Krama Dhindriya Panchakam. So, what are those Dhindriya Panchakam? Shrotra, so that is the sense organ of hearing, ear. Tvak, sense of touch. Akshi, eyes. Rasana, the taste, sense of taste, tongue. Grana is sense of smell, nose. So these are born from the sattvic content of these 5 elements. Here we have to see that what is stored here as the Dhindriya Panchaka, external gadget. It is the sense center, because what is born of is the Sattva Ansha. So for the gross structures or the instrument, what is necessary? Tamoguna is necessary, Panchikarana is necessary. So therefore Sattva-amsha, these five sense organs are born. Five sense organs are born. Upajayate. Okay. If individually, the five, that means sattvic content of each and every five elements goes into the making up of this five jnanendriyas individually. That order you have to see now. Order is from the space, the shrotra, from the air, the tvak, from the fire, the akshi, the eyes, from the water, the rasana, the taste, and from the earth, the ghana, the sense of smell, nose. Now what is born from the collective sattvic content of these five elements? So this is just as for revision of Tattva-bodha. There we have seen this. Tairantah karanam sarva vritti bhedena tadvidha. Mano vimarsha rupam syad buddhi syad nishchayatmika. तैहि सर्वैहि अंतःकरणं भवति और जायते. तैहि सर्वैहि. So taihi means by those. What are those? By the not just five elements. From the sattvangsha of all the five elements. We are talking of sattvangsha now. So from the sattvic content means from the aggregate sattvic content of all the five elements. Taihi sarvaihi. From that sattvic content, so antahkaranam jayate. What is born is antahkaranam. Antaha bhavam karanam antahkaranam. The karana here is instrument means jnana sadhanam. The karanam here is jnana sadhanam. The means of gaining the knowledge. Jnana sadhanam. Where is it abiding? Antaha bhavam. Which is within housed in this gross body. So therefore, antaha bhavam karanam jnana sadhanam antahkaranam. So, which is made up of, which is born of the five aggregate collective sattvic content of all the five elements. Tad vritti bhedena dvidha bhavati. Tad antahkaranam, that antahkarana, vritti bhedena. So because of the bheda, the division or the distinction of vritti. Vritti here can be parinama or function. Because of the division of the modification, or the vritti can be also function. Because of different functions, dvividha bhavati. See, tad dvividha, the double da is there. Tat dvividha, tad dvividha. Therefore, so tad means that antahkaranam. Vritti bhedena, because of the distinction of the difference of the vritti, the parinama, the modification or the function, it is twofold. What is the twofold? Manaha and buddhi. This is the peculiarity of Vidyaranyam. Antahkarana is twofold or fourfold. What does antahkarana consist of? I think he has not yet defined, no? Is it not? Tattva-bodha. Mana, buddhi, ahankara, chitta, not chit, chitta. It is fourfold. But he has called as a dvividha. That was for his purpose. Because he wants only manaha and buddhi. So we have to take it, the upalakshana for ahankara and the chitta. You can't just throw it. Even in, what is that? Tattva-bodha also, definition of Sukshara was given, pancha jnanendriyani, pancha karmendriyani, pancha pranaha, manascha ekam, buddhischa eka, iti saptadacha kalabhi yattisthati tat sukshma shariram. Manascha ekam, buddhischa eka. Totally how many? 17. Actually 17 is 17 plus 2, 19. That manascha ekam, buddhischa eka stands for antahkarana. Stands for antahkarana. So that separately not told, it is understood in the context. So therefore, understood in the context. So it is dvividha. So that means he is just referring to mana and buddhi. Therefore he says dvividha. It is twofold in nature. Now what is mind and what is intellect? So manaha vimarsha rupam sya. The mind is Vimarsha Rupam. So, the mind is Vimarsha Rupam. Vimarsha means pariksha or scrutiny or jumble of positive and negative thoughts. So, mind is of the nature of the scrutiny or the jumble of positive and negative thoughts. Like that. Is it a Purushaha Sthanu Hua? Is it a man or is a pole? So like that. That means that some doubt is there. So you scrutinize that. Purusha Manaha Vimarsha Rupam Syat. Whereas Buddhi Nischayatmika Syat. Buddhi. The intellect is Nischayatmika, of the decisive nature. So after Vimarsha, after the scrutiny, no, that is a Sthanuhu only, it is a pole only, it is a post only, not a man. So like, or otherwise also, such a decision, Nischayatmika. So Nischayatmika means Atma Yari Swarupa. The one whose Swarupa is Nischaya, the decision, ascertainment. So that is what the Buddhi is. Okay, that's fine. We'll see now further afterwards. So what is born of Rajoguna and what are those Karmendriyas, etc. and individually and collectively what is born will be told next.